जोहार दोस्तों, कल 22/5/2023 को दुमका के कन्वेंशन सेंटर में नॉर्वे के एम्बेसडर हंस जैकब फ्रेडेनल्ट को संताली नाच गानों के साथ स्वागत किया गया। महामहिम हंस जैकब फ्रेडेनल्ट की उपस्थिति में उच्च शिक्षा एवं सांस्कृतिक आदान प्रदान के विषय में चर्चा की गई। इस चर्चा में दुमका डीसी रविशंकर शुक्ला, दुमका पुलिस अधीक्षक अंबर लकड़ा, सिद्धू कानू मुर्मू यूनिवर्सिटी के वीसी सोना झरिया मिंज एवं अन्य संस्थान के गणमान्य लोग उपस्थित थे तथा इनके उपलक्ष्य में संताली रीति रिवाज से भी इनको रूबरू कराया गया। आइए देखते हैं उनका ये छोटा सा वीडियो।
चुने सुने सिपाही जी के कर कमलों से स्मृति चिन्ह महामहिम को प्रदान किया गया। धन्यवाद। माननीय और अंत में स्वागत के लिए स्वागत के इस क्रम के बाद मैं अपने गणमान्य अतिथियों से अनुरोध करता हूं कि वह लैंप को प्रज्वलित कर इस कार्यक्रम का विधिवत उद्घाटन करें। धन्यवाद महामहिम। नॉर्वे और दुमका के आपसी सहसंबंध पिछले 150 सालों से ज़्यादा के हैं, जो पहले से ही भाषा, संस्कृति, साहित्य को अपने में सजोए हुए, समेटे हुए आगे लगातार बढ़ने का कार्य कर रहे हैं।
Deputy Commissioner, Vice Chancellor, dignitaries, all present, friends, Johar. I am very impressed and humbled by the very warm response I received here in Dumka during my 2 days here. It's the history of Norway and Santa Pagana is a unique history of people-to-people link over the planet, and happening at a time when that was not as today, where you easily can link up through the internet with someone, for instance, in Norway. And I have to say that for me personally, it has been very emotional to be here. And that is because I heard very early about this, and I see a number of people in the room has heard me before, so please excuse me for actually repeating the point. But almost 58 8 years ago, a 6-year-old boy started at Husby Skole in Oslo. And I was received by the very lovable teacher, Miss, as we called them, Egna, who then taught me to read, to write, basic arithmetic. And then she also learned me a lot about her big hero, Lars Olsson's Skrefsrud. So I never thought, actually, I will come to Santa Pagana and meet then the Santalis and also be able to see the place where Lars Olsson's Skrefsrud and Per-Olav Bodding and Hans-Petter Børresen worked. And for us as kids, we ask ourselves, why do you learn so much about this old man? And when I'm looking back, I can mention some points, because the history is dramatic. First, and this was important because also Mrs. Hegnar, as you understand, was a very devout Christian engaged in the Santala mission. So she had a very strong Christianity. And in Christianity, redemption is as important. And first is the history of redemption. Remember that Lars Olsson's Skrefsrud was a convict. He had been to jail for theft. And that's where actually he underwent a conversion and decided to become a priest. But being a convict, he couldn't become a priest, but he could learn theology and then become a missionary, and then coming to, and I don't know how, here to Dumka. Second, it's a story and an important lesson for the young pupils about idealism. Here we see people who really devote their life for their ideals, and then undergo enormous hardship, and they prevail. The third element, and that's what the school likes to point out, it's about intellectual achievement. The linguistic studies of first Skrefsrud, but even more of Bodding, is an impressive academic exercise. I didn't know, but I was informed, that to give a comparison, Bodding compiled his dictionary about the same time that Oxford compiled their dictionary, which means the tribal language in India got a language codified at the same time as actually the British underwent that exercise on academic level. And last, but not least, also to encourage in the young, very receptive pupils at the age of 6 was a taste for adventure, living very safe and secure Norway, go out on that long journey to a place you didn't know anything about, completely different culture, climate, food, and with scant possibilities to return. And then actually getting and digging into the culture and thereby become also a citizen of this place and also of the larger world. So this was the lessons I believe my teacher wanted to convey to me, and I think she succeeded. So I really want to remember and also to commemorate then my old first to third grade teacher and what she then taught me. But well, when you look back at these visionaries, these pioneers, you can look at it from different perspectives. And when Mrs. Wegner then showed us example, she did it because she was a devout Christian and participated in the Santali mission. And in this respect, actually the missionaries succeeded. They built a church, which is alive and thriving. They built institutions like hospitals, like schools. But if you look wider upon it, actually they contributed to the development of the Santali language, and that goes far wider than just what was their original objective. They came with one goal and achieved it, but they also achieved so much more. And that will bring me to my second point of what I want to talk about, and that is the importance of language, and in particular your mother tongue. To preserve it, to develop it, and to promote it. And I will do that because I'm coming from a small country. Norway has 5.5 million people, so that's 5.5 million Norwegian speakers. And Santali is a minority language in India, but still it's spoken by more people. If I get it correct, it's about 7 to 8 million who speaks Santali, which means actually this is not a dialect or a language that is different, should be difficult to maintain. And it's made it to the list of the official languages of India, which also shows that the constitutional fathers recognize the importance of it. But in India, that is still a small language. And we see that minority languages tend to lose if you don't do a special effort to promote it. And this is, as we feel from the Norwegian side, is that if our language is to survive, it's not just enough that we speak it. It's not just enough that we write it. We need to make it the major instructions in the major medium of instruction in our schools, and we need to make it possible for people to who actually use it to thrive. And I'll give you one example. For any language, those writing literature in language is important. But the problem is, with a small language, there's a small market. So you can be the world's best writer, but still you cannot survive on your earnings because the market is too small. And that was a problem for us. So we thought, and then everyone thinks our literature best, so we hope it sells abroad. Well, it didn't, because nobody was able to read it. And then when nobody was able to read it, they would not buy it. And about 20 years ago, we decided to experiment. Not getting someone abroad interested in the book and then buy the rights and then get it translated. No, we have a public institution called Norway, who is then translating and paying for translations to the foreign language, and then being able then to sell literature, and in that way also making the income base on Norwegian authors broader, and then make it possible for writers to write in Norwegian.